or this could be a major situation we have in the world right now where history doesn't repeat itself, it just rhymes, in the sense that taking a certain group of people in your country and using the military to force them into a camp because they don't agree with what the government wants to do is a terrifying thing to think about. So let's go ahead and just hear it from the elders from the Aboriginal community that posted this video up here.
Yeah, my name's Lompa Jumba Jimba. Some of you know me as David. I'm a descendant of the Lurcha Wambaya people in Central Desert. I also descend from the Scottish and Irish tribes of Europe. We are a part of the original Sovereign Tribal Federation. We are part of the community. We are part of the people. And we're standing here united to make an international call for assistance. We need international attention focused on what's happening here in our communities. We have the Northern Territory government force vaccinating our people, pressuring them, using military, using foreign military, foreign police officers, and local military and local police officers to pressure our people.
So he talks about them pressuring their people, and he's going to use some verbiage that isn't very YouTube friendly or just PG-13. So I'm inclined to believe him because it seems like a genuine video and a genuine situation that they'd want to speak up at. But to give the counterpoint to it is you have Ken Wyatt. And who's Ken Wyatt? Well, apparently he's the federal member of, I'm going to pronounce this incorrectly, but Hasluk, the Minister for Indigenous Australians. So apparently he was elected in 2010 as a federal member of Hasluk, and he's also making history as the first Indigenous member of the House of Representatives. So if anybody could speak on behalf of the Indigenous people or the Aboriginals in the Australian government, it would likely be one of their own. But he went up there and said, hey, please read this important statement about the misinformation about the situation in the Northern Territory. So this is from the Whirly Jang Aboriginal Health Service, where they say that people are very hurt about the untrue comments being made in the media and social media about their situation. Support personnel and organizations are providing support to the Binjari and Rockall. We have been treated with a lot of respect and appreciate all the support being given by these people, these support personnel people. We are in lockdown because this is the biggest fight of our lives. We're trying to keep safe. We're trying to do the right thing by the community and Catherine. We don't need people out there creating another flood for us. We don't appreciate outside people making comments that are untrue. People on social media saying that our people are being mistreated need to realize their comments are hurting the very people they claim to care about. We want people to respect our privacy and show respect for our feelings. We are keeping close contact with the Wurjang Health Service CEO Susie Berto and cultural advisor May Rosas. And that's one thing that I wanted to be very careful about this, is people are getting very up in arms saying, what's happening to them? Oh my God, we need to help them. And where's the social justice activists out there? But what if this was another situation where we're taking videos out of context, or there's only a small minority of the people that are upset about this over there, and we're just trying to speak on their behalf? Kind of like how we see what I think the Chinese see as, I think they even have a word called a baitsua, where it's the college-educated Caucasian American people that talk about social justice movements for people of color, and they don't even want it. Where they're saying something about Black Lives Matter and shouting in the face of a black police officer that doesn't believe in it, or someone talking about like stop Asian hate and telling me how I should be more offended about something. It's just like, no, I think that you guys are misunderstanding what's happening in our community, and I don't want to be doing that same thing for the Aboriginals in Australia. But looking at other videos where you're having there's a lot of other videos I'm not going to cover in social media posts I'm not going to cover because this is all very hard to confirm, but just taking it at face value. You have Aboriginal people speaking out.
Country here in Darwin, Northern Territory. We're in a state of emergency here. This is a crisis situation here.
And I'm not going to bog down with all these long videos, but you're hearing more and more people speak out.
We're in dire straits times, people. As much as it's crumbling, there is still a lot of pain being inflicted on the people.
And it's crazy because you're having these videos of people describing the same thing and also seeing social media posts. Again, you gotta take it with a grain of salt, because who knows if this is just a person from, a bot from Russia making this post and you don't even know the validity of it. But this person says, update on Catherine. Spoke with brother who spoke directly with family. Up to 240 people in Robertson River were pressured into getting the medical procedure. 60 people were hit in Binjari. Rockall was hit yesterday, and they've been heading for Borroloola this week with military, police, and task force. Whirly Aboriginal Health. People who fled the community or traveled for food were fined $5,000, and they say it's like, this is martial law. And that's what a lot of people are saying around the world, where we're living in peacetime martial law. Like, when has the National Guard been implemented to get away from protesters, or because of there's riots or people are looting stores? Like, this is very bizarre. Again, martial law is when the government takes over and actually the generals are making rules for the people. We're not there, but people are talking about this as of like, why is the military in such day-to-day life or day-to-day operations of our life, like driving around buses, and they want them to be nurses in hospitals, and also want to be pressuring people to go undergo a medical procedure. And they say things like pressure and, like, you know, trying to get people to do something. And we do see that in America, where it's like, yeah, you might not be able to be a police officer, a firefighter, a nurse. You might not be able to go to a movie theater or a bar or go to a sports ball game. That's all forms of pressure. And it's just like, yeah, if it's happening in Australia now, it's only going to hit us later on if it's successful over there, which is kind of insane. Also, you saw this text message, again, very hard to verify, but reading it at face value, it's someone's texting a person that writes for a magazine, I believe. I don't know if you'll see this, but in Australia, we desperately need some light shed on this matter ASAP. They're rounding up our indigenous communities and throwing them in camps. This is happening in the Northern Territory, and the military is involved. Anyone who tests positive has to go there, and any close contacts. Now, you can't take this screenshot of a text message or this screenshot of a social media post that has a lot of like JPEG artifacts. So who knows if this is real right now, but judging by what's actually happening, where you see the Guardian.com published this article, but also know the Guardian.com has a lot of things wrong about other trending stories. They talk about the NT communities of Njari and Rockall in hard lockdowns as COVID outbreak expected to worsen. So in this paragraph, it says, Njari and nearby Rockall have been placed in strict lockdown response to the outbreak, and the Australian Defence Force has been called in to help with transferring positive cases and close contacts. NT's Chief Minister, Michael Gunner, on a Sunday said a 78-year-old woman was being treated in the Royal Darwin Hospital, while the other 8 cases have been taken to the Howard Springs Quarantine Center, meaning to say this is actually genuinely happening. And it's reading this saying, okay, so they are taking him to that quarantine center, and then reading this from abc.net.au for Australia, it says that Aboriginal health worker with COVID slams anti-vaxxers and defends the NT coronavirus response, where if you look at the breaking news up there, they say Northern Territory has recorded 1 new COVID case, where I think 1 case is a pretty good job, but I live in Los Angeles, so maybe we have different standards of what's good and what's bad. But the idea they say, oh, the Aboriginal health worker says, you guys are getting this wrong. Let me speak on behalf of my people, saying this is what we want. So they say the Aboriginal health worker infected in the Northern Territory's outbreak slammed misinformation being spread on